In a controversial move that has sparked debate across the UK, Labour's new early inmate release policy has led to the release of 1,700 prisoners, with more to follow in the coming weeks. Scenes outside prisons today were chaotic and jubilant, with convicts celebrating their early freedom, some even crediting Labour leader Keir Starmer for their release. The release policy, designed to ease the pressure on overcrowded prisons, has drawn mixed reactions from both the public and experts alike. While former inmates are thrilled by their newfound freedom, many, including victims and community members, are voicing deep concerns about the consequences of letting these individuals back into society. In this video, we will break down the details of this controversial policy, the reactions from all sides, and what it could mean for public safety and the justice system as a whole. The release of prisoners under this new Labour policy has sparked significant debate, with critics questioning both its timing and its long-term impact. With more than 5,000 inmates expected to be set free over the next 6 weeks, many are concerned about the consequences, especially since the release includes not only non-violent offenders but also individuals convicted of serious crimes such as drug dealing, aggravated burglary, and domestic violence. The decision has been made to address overcrowding in prisons, with some facilities at breaking point due to the increasing number of inmates. As convicts walk free, the atmosphere outside Britain's prisons was celebratory. Convicted drug dealers, burglars, and robbers were seen embracing their families, popping bottles of champagne, and expressing their gratitude to the Labour Party for giving them their freedom. Many of these released prisoners have expressed joy and relief, with some vowing to stay out of trouble. One convicted drug dealer, Jaber Benalawa, said the policy has made him a lifelong Labour voter, while another inmate, Daniel Ruddles, praised the move as a smart decision, noting that the policy provided inmates with much-needed hope. For many, their first act of freedom was simply enjoying a fast food meal with their loved ones, while others, like Calvin Foster, expressed plans to chill and work with their friends and girlfriends. Despite the celebratory scenes, critics are raising alarm bells. Experts are warning of the potential dangers of releasing a large number of inmates into communities in such a short span of time. There are fears that the system is ill-prepared to handle the surge of released convicts, especially with the probation service already overstretched. Martin Jones, the head of probation, has warned that it's a certainty some of these individuals will reoffend, with an estimated one-third expected to commit further crimes. This statistic, paired with the sudden influx of former inmates, has many fearing for the safety of communities, especially those areas with higher concentrations of released prisoners. Victims and their families have been vocal in their outrage over the early release of certain convicts, particularly those involved in violent crimes. One of the most heartbreaking cases is that of Lawson Natty, who was convicted of manslaughter for supplying a machete used in the killing of 14-year-old Gordon Galt. Natty was released today, much to the horror of the victim's mother, Dion Barrett, who expressed her disgust, stating it was sickening that someone involved in her son's death would be allowed to walk free after serving such a short sentence. Similarly, victims of domestic violence have expressed fear over the release of their abusers. Kana Shaw, a man who was convicted of strangling his partner and threatening to throw acid in her face, is now a free man, despite his victim's testimony that she lives in fear of his revenge. Beyond the safety concerns, many former inmates are also facing an uncertain future. Some have expressed their worries about becoming homeless, having no accommodation lined up upon their release. Jack Creighton, a 54-year-old who was released from prison today, admitted that he would be spending his first night as a free man on a park bench due to having no place to go. These cases have raised further concerns about the adequacy of support systems for reintegrating former inmates back into society, with many experts warning that without proper housing, employment, and mental health services, the likelihood of reoffending increases dramatically. Adding to the controversy is the scope of the release. While violent criminals serving sentences of more than 4 years have been excluded from the program, many still argue that the policy is too lenient. Critics are questioning whether releasing individuals convicted of crimes like robbery, fraud, and domestic violence is in the best interest of public safety. The government has defended the policy, stating that it will free up much-needed space in prisons and give the system time to implement longer-term solutions, such as building new prison facilities. However, this has done little to quell public outrage, especially from those who feel that the policy is unfair to victims. The early release policy is the largest of its kind in a decade, and while it may provide temporary relief to the prison system, the long-term effects are still unclear. Some former inmates, like Carl Wilson, have been vocal about the grim realities inside Britain's overcrowded prisons, citing rampant drug use and violence. Wilson expressed hope that this release policy could spark broader reforms within the prison system, including better management of foreign prisoners and more investment in rehabilitation programs. Whether or not this will happen remains to be seen, but for now, communities across the UK are bracing themselves for the potential impact of these mass releases. As the debate over Labour's early inmate release policy continues to unfold, it's clear that there are no easy answers. While the policy aims to address the immediate issue of overcrowded prisons, its long-term success will depend on how well former inmates reintegrate into society and whether the systems in place can support them. With concerns about reoffending and public safety at the forefront of the discussion, only time will tell whether this controversial move will have the intended result or lead to further problems down the line. Thank you for watching, and let us know your thoughts on this highly debated issue in the comments. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates on the latest in UK news and politics.